LL Nation, what's good? Come on in, man. Lucky Lefty Podcast, the Onora Boys. Brought to you by Onora Whisky, OnoraWhisky.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. And if you're going to drink, make sure that you drink responsibly. It's going to be a really good show today. We're going to get into Marcus Freeman and whether or not he's being too nice as head coach of Notre Dame. We're also going to talk about some of his comments from the presser yesterday. And we're going to talk about that fabulous interview we had on yesterday's show with Cam McDaniel, where he spoke to the team, he spoke to the culture, past and present, and he spoke to the fan base at the end of that show. If you missed it, you need to go check it out. Absolutely great content from a former Notre Dame running back and former Notre Dame captain on yesterday's show. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the Lucky Lefty Podcast. Some very interesting things. Lucky is doing the Hollywood thing. He was supposed to be back by this time. Couldn't make LL Nation wait. Had to hop on. If he jumps on, man, we'll keep moving. But right now, we're going to get into the show. Great content yesterday. Let's talk about Marcus Freeman. And one of the questions that I have moving forward, that's going to be the question of the day. I think we already said it. Marcus Freeman, is he being too nice as head coach of Notre Dame? There's a lot of things going on, right? Cam talked about it yesterday, things that I'm sure if I didn't think about it, some of you, I don't like ashing hands on air. You guys, excuse me. Let me get my hydration on for my skin. So you guys might have heard Cam yesterday when he talked about the culture change and how for years Notre Dame players were used to existing in a culture that was much more like a CEO type thing. And the switch now is to more of a family atmosphere that Marcus Freeman and his coaching staff is trying to establish. And I really never thought about that, Left. I never thought about that. I knew it was a change, but I thought that the transition would be smooth because of the relationship that the players had with Marcus Freeman, because of the love they showed when he got the job. I thought the transition honestly would be seamless and smooth. And he said something yesterday in the press conference that really made me think about, yo, he sees what he needs to do and he's trying to hold on and appease everybody by continuing the outcomes that have existed from a record standpoint, but at the same time trying to switch a foundation. That's really hard to do, bro. Like when you're trying to change things, more than likely in any area of life, it's very rare that people can change and continue to smoothly move on. Like if you can do that, you're extremely blessed.
That's right.
Extremely blessed, right? Um, my dad has dealt with some illness at the ministry for like the past year and a half. And, I've been under his tutelage ever since I was pretty much 16. And even when he's not there, you would think that people seeing me pretty much grow up from a teenager would be like, oh, okay, cool. We still got Shaun. Let's rock. And they're like, some people are still like, man, where's Pops at?
Right.
And that's just part of the territory. I'm sure there are people on the team, current players, that got used to things and are like, man, we used to do this. We used to do that. I liked it better. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, does Marcus Freeman have to stop being the nice guy and kind of put his foot down and have that moment where he lets everybody know, like, yo, it's done. No more talk about how we used to do it. We're moving forward, and moving forward might come packaged in a 7-5, 8-4 record, bro. But in the long run, it might end up being the best thing for the program.
It might be. And I think all transition has to go through some ups and downs. I do believe the ups are the fact that the program is bought in for the most part. I think the ups are, the encouragement that Marcus Freeman being the right person and personality and coach for the 2022 season and beyond. That's the up. Obviously, there's going to be downs when there were deficiencies before Marcus Freeman became head coach that are being addressed. Are they a one-day fix?
Yeah.
Clearly, it's not.
Clearly.
But what do you expect? This is a first-year head coach now. Not that that's giving him an excuse, but for a first-year head coach, he's really doing the extreme on both sides.
Yeah.
He's doing the extreme of trying to come in and be not miss a beat on an 11-10 win consistent basis, and then also be the extreme of not being that team that was constructed that way to be an 11 and a 10 win season team every year, because he needs to make it his own.
Yeah.
Brought in a whole new coaching staff. What do you expect? There's going to be a lot of changes in how guys are learning things, getting a new system, this, that, and the third. Offensively, we don't have deficiencies, and we have deficiencies at certain positions that have existed longer than a couple years. He's trying to change a whole receiver culture that's been talented, but has never reached its potential while at Notre Dame. Individually, they've gone on to do great things, but as a unit, always been a deficient part of the offense. The quarterback position, another deficient part, or just not good enough for where we're trying to go. That has its stages and been a problem for a while. Not only does he not control that, we don't even have an offensive coach. I mean, a QB coach. So you're dealing with a lot of things that he's trying to take on in an off season. Massive transition in the off season, and it's unfortunate that you come into the next season playing a team that's got most of their stuff together. Yeah, they got a lack here and there, which for what we prepared for, we did well. For what Ohio State is really, 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 really good at, for everything that we went through and got prepared for, we did a good job. More than what you could say for if it was a blowout. I feel like if it was a blowout, it would just feel like even worse. So there's a lot of bright spots in what Marcus Freeman is doing, but you're going to have some losses due to the fact that you don't have a generational quarterback that can bring Marcus Freeman along. Deshaun Watson in his prime at Clemson was bringing along Dabo until that defense got really, really good. Because he could just turn to Deshaun Watson and say, okay, you got to win some games, and we're gonna try to follow up behind. He did that. So Marcus Freeman, like we said yesterday, he can't go out there and score touchdowns. He can't go out there and tackle. But he's the most important person in the Notre Dame program, and that is a good and a bad. Because leadership on the field, they're looking at Marcus Freeman on the sideline. He can't rally you. It's got to be a guy on the field that's rallying you along with Marcus Freeman. So, I'm not surprised I am surprised we lost to Marshall. But I'm not surprised that this transition, people are going to be very opinionated about it just because of all things included. I mean, LSU's not doing too hot neither. So it's not like Brian Kelly dipped and went and had great success his first couple games either. So I think we just need to relax. It's still, week 3 now. We haven't even hit the quarter part of the season yet. I think this game really has to win. We have to win this game, obviously, but it has to show that at least we're making strides in the clear, obvious places that we're lacking. And that's what all you can see is slow improvement right now.
Man, slow improvement. That there is something I thought I wouldn't have to talk about this entire season. Like,
Yeah.
I really didn't. I never thought that I would have to talk about that. But let me tell you something. It's something that we had a question that came on yesterday's show from our guy Archer. And I don't know if he's watching right now. Shout out to you, Archer. And we were talking about understanding that this culture, let's be honest, man. Notre Dame has been giving up fourth quarter leads for like the last 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Last 3 to 4 seasons. Under Marcus Freeman as DC, under Clark Lee as DC, Notre Dame has been giving up fourth quarter leads. Right? Notre Dame needs big guys in the middle. You've been saying this all summer when we talk about recruiting. Where is the big guy? Now, we constantly get these 275, 280 guys in the middle, and we want them to slash and get into the backfield. It's kind of hard to get in between the cracks when you're going up against 320, 330-pound guys in big games. They're not going to allow you to do that. Sometimes you just have to line up mano a mano and stuff some guys and help out your linebackers. So, yes, when you look at the film, Notre Dame is asking its smallest defensive tackles on some plays to do the same thing that Lewis Nix and Stephon Tuitt were able to do successfully. And they're really not physically equipped to be able to do that for 4 quarters.
No.
But then when they're asked to slash, get into the backfield, they can do that. But can they do that all game without leaving their linebackers on an island? So it's like, at some point, there has to be a mixture of assignments. But when you can't fulfill the assignments, that's the problem. That's the problem, bro. Like, if I ask you to flash and get to the backfield 40% and you fail to do that, you line up wrong, you don't have the right alignment with the linebacker, both of you in the same gap, it doesn't matter what I'm asking you to do, it's not going to be successful.
It's not. It's not.
Just from fundamental lining up, you're already at a deficit. And when you watch the film back, that's what we're seeing. We're talking about fundamental mistakes, man. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's miscommunication from coach Al Golden Al Golden's on the sideline. So I don't know if it's miscommunication between him and the players, not understanding what they're being asked to do on a consistent basis. It's just a lot. It's a lot.
It's a
And
lot.
with anything, your leadership has to take a step forward.
There's got to be leadership. That's the
Your
main thing.
leadership has to take a step forward, man.
Who are the leaders on the offensive unit and the defensive unit that are leading by example as well? I told you, Brandon Joseph is doing good things, but he's in the secondary, the last line of defense.
You said that.
If he's the biggest talker and player that we have in the farthest part of the defense, that's not going to be good enough. As great as a leader playmaker he is, that's just not going to be good enough. So who in that front 7? I haven't heard nothing from the linebacker core, and that's the strength of the defense, in my opinion, or it should be. We talked about not having that Jordan Davis size player on that D line. The size alone makes it an issue. The guys we got are just well-built guys. But O-linemen aren't well-built, but they're big dudes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of science. You know, we're smart. Yeah, we're strong and all that, but at the end of the day, we're just not running through that.
Mm-hmm.
You
This,
need somebody to run through that.
yeah, I love this because I'm gonna play this clip because we said it yesterday, and what I love about us, bro, is that we're not scared to speak truth because we really have no other affiliation. We don't have to be filtered. We speak truth, and we can speak it without worrying about whether or not people really like it. It's like, here's the truth. You can do with it whatever you want. It's there, right? So we just talked about transition, and Brian Denbo says slow improvement from multiple 10-win seasons. And I want you to listen to Marcus Freeman yesterday because he was nice about it. And once we play this, then we're going to come back and give you what he really was saying and what he really wanted to say.
Obviously the last 36 hours has been, a reality check for all of us, from the coaches, the head coach, to the assistant coaches, to our players, and doing a deep evaluation of everything we're doing, and to really try to figure out what our issues are. And I think I said this after the game, it is execution. It's executing, but I think more than that, it's focusing on the entirety of the game. And I think as you look back to the Oklahoma State game, you look back to the Ohio State game, I think so much of our focus was just finishing. You're up in the second half, finish the game. But when you really go back and evaluate it, even after the Marshall game, we're up in the fourth quarter, and it isn't so much about just finishing. It's about executing throughout the entire game. And that's what we have to do a better job as a football program, coaches and players, of truly, executing your job on every single play, because sometimes we let the results kind of mask the reality of how we're playing and how we're executing.
You want me to tell you what he's really saying?
What's he really saying?
You're a player, bro, so I understand you part of the brotherhood. I'm going to tell you what he was really saying, right? But he had to clean it up, right? This program is further away from Alabama and Georgia than they were in 2015. That's what he's saying. I don't care how many wins you had in 2021, 20, 19, 8. You can be fooled by the wins. This program is further away from Alabama and Georgia in the top of the mountain than it was in 2015 and 2018. And it's 2021. You can talk about outcomes and records all you want. You don't have the talent, you don't have the quarterback, and you don't have the defense. The first thing he did when he got here as the defensive coordinator was acknowledge that the linebackers weren't good enough. And that was his main priority in recruiting as DC. Let me go get some athletic linebackers.
That's true. But that's the thing. We knew last year, the year before, that it was Alabama and Georgia up here, Ohio State and Clemson, and we were just right underneath that for the same reasons.
But hadn't made any progress.
And we always stayed there.
No progress. There has been no progress from 2015 to 2021 as far as closing the gap on Bama and Georgia. None. So who cares you won 10 games? I don't give a darn. I won national championships. 10 games don't win a thing to me. Nothing. Maybe there's some fans out there that just want to run up 10-win seasons.
Yeah.
There's a difference winning 10-win seasons and being a legitimate contender. Legitimate contender for a national championship. Michigan was not a legitimate contender for a national championship last year.
They were like us.
They got to the playoffs, and this year, Michigan is nowhere closer to being a legitimate contender to a national championship as a program.
Nowhere closer.
And they're going to have back-to-back 10-win seasons.
Back-to-back.
And they might win another Big Ten title.
They're going to have back-to-back. They're going to be all the way good, and Ohio State's going to beat them at the end.
Absolutely.
And they're going to have a tough decision. Do they put Ohio State or Michigan in?
Absolutely.
And then they end up putting in Ohio State. Even if they put Michigan in, they just are the same exact team. Not a championship quarterback.
No.
Defense is great except for elite defensive players. I'm not calling Aiden Hutchinson elite because look at what the Georgia game looked like. He disappeared. So they have good but not great defense. Not a championship generational quarterback, a good quarterback, two of them. They're decent. They can win Big Ten games. And then what else? They don't have a Jerry Jeudy, a Devontae Smith at receiver. They got a so-so tight end. They got a solid O-line. They're just like us. Just not elite. Good, but not elite. Us right now, we can't even score. So at least Michigan can put some points on the board. We can't even do that.
The last team that could score with Alabama was the 2015 team.
Yeah, that's it. That's
period.
That's the only team.
And Alabama has continued to ascend offensively. But yet and still, we want to sit here and clap for 10-win seasons. I thought the task was at Notre Dame to win national championships. That's what I thought the task was. The head coach that left basically told you, I can't win national championships there. That's why he said he left and went to a place where he feels like he can win a national championship. But you want to be happy about the culture that was set because you were winning 10-win games and being that team that was an illegitimate contender to make it into the college football playoffs. Please tell me, LL Nation, what college football playoff matchup did you really feel like you had a chance to win under Brian Kelly? Win.
Not no team. We couldn't have beat Mac Jones in that year.
And I've been critical.
LSU that year.
This is what I just came to this really in the last couple of days, bro. Just being honest. Because I'm a Notre Dame fan. I used to fight for the program. I used to want to ignore certain things. I used to be on that side. We put up 10 wins every year. But I thought about, look, dude, it's about championships. I grew up with Michael Jordan and the Bulls. It's about championships. Titles. Zach LaVine does nothing for me. We're not winning the NBA title now. Man, I'm spoiled. I grew up on 6. Getting to the playoffs as a 4 or 5 seed, that does nothing for me. Nothing. This is Notre Dame. 10 wins, that's all you want? And a bowl loss? That's not good enough. And what existed, that's all it was going to give you. 10 wins and a bowl loss. So if you're cool with that, then fine. Let's just keep doing things the way we've been doing it.
That's right.
But if you want to go to the nuts level, there has to be some disruption. And in that disruption, there's going to be some growing pains. And if you have to go through a 7-5, 8-4 season with our spoiled tails, we're spoiled. I'm going to tell you honestly. As Notre Dame fans, we're spoiled. You told us that during the summer when we complained about the offensive line play. You told us, y'all spoiled. Y'all been spoiled by Ronnie, McGlinchey, Quinn Nelson. You're spoiled. You've been so used to it being at this level that when you get normal offensive line play, you want to act like
it's like, let's be honest, it's normal offensive line play. It's not bad offensive line play. It's just,
we're not used to it.
It's just average. Yeah, we just not used to it.
We're spoiled. Yeah. That's cool. But this is the thing. If I'm going to be spoiled, let me be spoiled off championships.
Yeah. Let it be worth it.
Let it be worth it. If I'm going to suffer, let the suffering be worth it. That's all I'm saying. So you talk about the transition that Cam McDaniel pointed out yesterday. You're absolutely right. He's right. Something is happening. And it's bigger than we thought it would be. And as a fan base, we don't like it. We don't like what we're having to go through. But Marcus Freeman sat there yesterday and told you, we came into this and we fooled ourselves because we were looking at the outcomes. And we said, you know what? All we do is we have to finish. And we dug a little deeper and realized this is bigger than just finishing games. Because it's been happening. The decline has been happening in the program. It's been happening. With different OCs, different DCs, different head coaches, the program has been declining. And it just happened to get to the point where now the outcomes are starting to switch up. And as a fan base, we have to recognize, yo, this was coming regardless of who the head coach was. This was coming. This is coming. Tyler Buckner was still going to be a first-time starter that was going to struggle. Still, the leadership, that's on them. You heard Cam McDaniel yesterday. He was the captain. Nobody told him to speak to the team. He made the decision and told Brian Kelly and the coaches to get the hell out. Get out. This has to matter to us. And we want to pick and choose who we want to blame. It's the program. In its totality. It's the program. And the way they rise is getting everything right in the totality of the program. So there's hope in recruiting in spite of losses of certain guys. The talent they've recruited is much better than the 3 previous years from a ranking standpoint. They've already surpassed by points, according to 247 Sports, any recruiting class in the last 6 years that Notre Dame's ever had. They've already surpassed it by points. And they still have like 3 to 4 more recruits to sign.
Yeah.
They have their quarterback, according to them. Unfortunately, he's in the 24 class. But this is the way they feel. They feel like they have their national championship quarterback.
Yeah.
In 2024.
They do. So much so we denied a 5-star from this year.
To take him because he was ready, right?
Yeah.
He was ready. And they did the examination and said, yo, he's our guy. He's ready. Let's take him and keep moving. That's the decision they made. This coaching staff, Marcus Freeman understands who he is, what this program is. He understands the importance of getting a big-time quarterback. He knows. He knows. As the game of football has evolved, he understands the importance of improving the talent at linebacker. He knows. And I already know what people are saying. Well, Shaun, they got to get him on the field. You're right. You're right. I agree. But how long and how much do you want to see players on the field with bad habits? Because we watched that before Marcus Freeman ever became the head coach. Question. Did Jared Patterson, out of his own mouth, say that he played below his expectations last year? Yeah. Did he not say that? Was that not the evaluation by you when you watched film? That he didn't have a good year last year? That's not Harry Heastand.
That's not Harry Heastand.
That's not Harry Heastand.
Been doing that.
That point.
Ever since he was put up as like what? Top center Well, for those awards, been tanking ever since.
Came Madden. Whose choice was that to go get him from Marshall? It wasn't Marcus Freeman's choice. Josh Lugg for the second straight year. Not getting it done. That's not Marcus Freeman. That's not Harry Heastand. How long have you seen Notre Dame struggle to get plays in and get the ball hiked before having to call a timeout? I've watched this as a Notre Dame fan for at least the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
I watched your first start against Texas. It was the same thing. It's the culture. False starts. Offensive line. It's been like that for the last 3 years. Missed assignments. It's the same thing that happened against Florida State that allowed 2 big runs to get them back in the game. With a quarterback that's no longer playing. But he almost played hero. Coming back from a catastrophic injury to his leg. And he almost beat you. But Jack Cohn saved the day. This is where I owe Ian Book an apology, bro. I didn't realize how much Ian Book covered up. Ian Book, I apologize. I apologize. Because I understand you making things happen made the offense look a whole lot better than what was really going on at the core. Jack Cohn, I appreciate you. Because we felt like Notre Dame got you to the NFL, which I think is still true. But gosh darn it, Jack Cohn, if you didn't save our season last year coming through in the fourth quarter, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you for covering the flaws last year. Thank you that we could even get to an NY6 bowl with your play. We appreciate you, Jack, because you covered it up nicely. And once again, that highlights the importance of the quarterback position and what they can cover.
And what they can cover, yeah.
We appreciate you. This is my public apology to Ian Book, man. Doesn't matter that you couldn't read coverages like Peyton Manning. Doesn't matter that you didn't go to your second and third progression like we might have wanted you to. You found a way to make plays to cover up for the deficiencies on offense. I appreciate you, my dude. And you took the offense as far as you could take it. And if that's the college football playoff, I tip my cap. But as a fan, I want more. As a fan base, we deserve more. And the way it used to be was not going to get what we deserve as a fan base. It's been too long, man. It's been too long. Whether it's Marcus Freeman or the next guy after him or the next guy after him, somebody has to get it right. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We got to stop this, man, as a fan base. We got to stop. We deserve better. We should demand better. And demanding better is not holding on to 10-win seasons that really didn't bring us anything.
Right.
Like 10, 11-win seasons under Lou Holtz, at least we knew we were going to bang on somebody in the bowl game. If we didn't win a national championship, okay, we're going to bang on Colorado. We're going to bang on West Virginia. Whoever. We ticked off, we're going to bang on them in the bowl game, send people to the NFL in the first round. That was the culture. And every year we felt like we had a chance to win, a legitimate shot to win a national championship.
Yeah.
We deserve to have that feeling back. And we don't have to do it like Alabama. Because we can't. Let's get 5 to 6 5 stars some difference makers on the offensive side of the ball, and a really good quarterback, and we're in business. And some big boys on the defensive line. We're in business. That can be done. That can be done.
That can be done.
Had somebody hit me up yesterday. Yeah, you see the difference in Mike Elston. What? What are you talking about? Mike Elston is the one that started the trend of small defensive tackles.
Yeah. Started it.
Like, that was a scheme and game plan put into place before Marcus Freeman got here. Hopefully we get Justin Scott.
Yeah, hopefully we get him.
Hopefully we get him. And I don't know what happened. Because we went, dude, please explain to me, we went from Big Nine and Stephon and Tillery to what are we doing?
Yeah, to what are we doing? Yeah, to what are we doing? It's like not even, to what are we doing?
Like I said, 15 to 17, that's when it was like pinnacle from a talent standpoint. Like, yo, okay, we can score. We can do some things. Like, all of a sudden, losing fourth quarter leads has become a thing on the Marcus Freeman. Do you not remember Stanford when there was still an outside chance to go to the college football playoff and Josh Adams was running like crazy? What did that Notre Dame team do, that defense do in the fourth quarter? They gave up the lead. What are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? It's been the culture. That's the way it's been. And if someone, Marcus Freeman or anybody else, wants to come in and it's going to take some time to transition things, what else are you going to do? You don't have a choice as a fan. We don't have a choice. But the hope that the transition works. Yes, if Jack Cohn was quarterbacking this team, they would probably be 2-0.
Yeah, we would be saying a whole different conversation. We would be back to the conversation of, oh man, we have nobody that can throw it deep.
Right. We would plug one hole, and then when the next hole opens up and it starts flooding in, then we'll find a reason to talk about that and complain about that.
But the hole that Jack Cohn had wasn't as big. It was more of a nagging necessity. It was more like, just gotta keep taping it. It wasn't like the hole we have now to where like the roof is caving in because you can't find the answer on offense with a bunch of people around it.
Man. Marcus Freeman talked about QB1, the new QB1 that is Drew Pyne. Interesting things. This is your spot. I'm sure you're going to find what he said about Drew Pyne and the offense moving forward. Pretty interesting, Luck.
See the offense changing extremely amounts. I see we're still going to be able to do some of the QB runs that we did with Tyler, and obviously the passing game will continue to enhance it and figure out ways to be more consistent in it, and put him in a situation to hopefully have more completions. And so, I don't see the offense in terms of the entire package changing because of Drew being at quarterback, but I do see us trying to look and see, okay, hey, where can we be more efficient in as an offense?
That's you, bro.
I think if anything, I just caught the last part where you said we'll be more efficient. I do think that's more easier to digest than saying we can still do some QB runs. I don't want to see Drew Pyne running.
At this point, please don't run him.
I don't want to see it. I'd rather him be like, yeah, we got some stuff. We'll we'll put the Tyler Buckner package for Steve Angeli and do some QB runs, but not. Yeah, I'm glad we can still do some things with Drew Pyne. Like the playbooks are going to be the same. I hope not. I hope not. I hope you go in there and be like, yeah, we got Drew, the people's champ. Him and Jack were very similar. I think we're going to rock like that. That should have been the conversation. At least I would have been like, we got something. I know Tommy can throw it 60 times for 500 yards. So I don't want to see Drew run the ball. I don't. I'd rather see Chris Tyree, Aldrich, and Logan just have 50 carries apiece the next couple games and some play action. I think we can go back to that. But fortunately, there's no way we can put the whole game on Drew. So it's going to force Tommy to get other people involved, which is what we wanted in the beginning.
Yeah. Look, my question, and we can put Tommy Rees. Look, let's bring some drama today, bro. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's bring some drama. Okay. Karma is something else, right? Karma is something else. I see a lot of fans on social media making comments and asking questions like, yo, I'm done with Tommy. What's going on with Tommy? Why isn't he doing this? Why is he playing this guy? You said you had a glass half empty view on him, and he had things to prove to you at the beginning of the season. I'm going to be flat out honest, bro. The more things start to play out, that whole off-season Miami thing, it's just under my skin, bro.
Yeah.
Because it was just bad karma. It was just bad karma, dude. And I don't care what side you fall on it. As a coach, either you're locked in or you're not.
Or you're not.
And for whatever reason, entertaining stuff, like, what are we doing? And to come out and on film to watch plays, and literally everybody in the stadium that knows anything about football that's watching on TV can pretty much say pass run. That right there is a problem. But you said you watched tape from every NFL team. I don't see the creativity. I don't see the creativity in setting up plays. I don't see the creativity in the identity. And I definitely don't see the creativity from a formation standpoint. I don't. And while I played GC with him and tried to give him a glass half full point of view, I don't know if I can rock that way anymore, bro. It's just at that point. It's just a bad vibe, man. It's a bad vibe. You know, and anything short of just simplifying everything and getting back to basics, I don't know what they do with Drew Pyne and Steve Angeli, who's now one play away from taking the field. Matter of fact, he got snaps. He got snaps with the starters yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to see him a lot because Drew's not going to hang up all season. Drew's not going to be able to stay healthy all season. So we're going to see Steve. We might even see Ron Paulus Jr., the reincarnation. It may get that bad because we have no depth at the quarterback position. Like, we not even bringing in 2 5-stars like Miami and having to choose which one to go with. We're just bringing in, just like this. We got a for sale sign on our front lawn looking for QBs. Start today. Come in and start today for the Notre Dame program, a top 10 program traditionally every year. We have help wanted signs on the front lawn for QB right now. Help wanted. The number 3 team in the nation just 2 days ago, or 5 team in the nation just 2 days ago, has help wanted for quarterbacks. That's just the last 2 games. the other team had better quarterbacks. How is that possible? We're Notre Dame. Marshall quarterback was a better quarterback than our quarterback, and we're Notre Dame.
So we're not talking about potential.
We're not talking about potential. We're talking about going into that game, who is the better quarterback? And we 0 for 2 for 2 weeks straight. And probably 0 for 3 this week. We're going into most of our big games. USC has a better quarterback. BYU supposedly has a better quarterback. Clemson has a better quarterback.
And that's not saying much if it's DJ. That's not saying much if it's DJ.
Much. So going into the rest of the season, the other team might have a better quarterback than ours. And we're Notre Dame. How is that possible? The rest of the teams on the schedule is like North Carolina has a better quarterback than us. Drake May's nice.
I like the May kid. I like him
Drake
a lot.
May is nice. And he's
like
tough.
He can
going
spin it.
toe-to-toe with teams to the 5th and 6th overtime, putting up 69, 70 points a game. That's tough. North Carolina's going to give us a lot of problems because they have a better quarterback. Our defense is going to be playing a lot of snaps for the rest of the season because you can't. What are you going to do? It's not the NFL. We can't go get a free agent. We can't go sign a Fitzpatrick off the street, a veteran, a Jack Cohn. It's wraps. So every game we have going in, pretty much, they have a better quarterback. Pretty much. And we're Notre Dame. So you're going to have to go into every game moving forward, especially these big ones, with an elaborate scheme. Some super mastermind design, twisting, because we can't beat teams straight up offensively. Because we don't have the better quarterback, period. We have the better team. We got more draftable players, but we don't have
favorite. 10-point favorite. Oh,
yeah.
10-point favorite this weekend.
Vegas is going to kill us. We might not have an advantage after Cal for the rest of the season. If it does, it's like, what, 2-3 points?
They'll still be favored against North Carolina.
Barely.
About like 3.5.
If we lose this Cal game, we won't be favored going to North Carolina.
It's a home game, so that's a road game, right?
Yeah.
You might be right. That's 3.5.
We are not going to be favored going in North Carolina. Absolutely not. We're not even in the top 10 and 25 anymore. They done dropped us out of that so quick. I'm like, you're not giving us a chance? No 20, no 25. We straight out?
Yeah, Vegas.
But Marshall got 2 NFL corners. Stephen Gilmore. Y'all ever heard that name? His brother was out there giving us NFL business. Come on, man. They quarterback was the most completions in the league or in the conference. Come on, man. That team was good. They can't chop us that far out.
Come on, man. Notre Dame should have won. This is the thing, right? We're not going to come off of what we said over the summer. Remember, we said Ohio State is going to be what it is, right? 2 good teams going up against each other. We said that we would not be pleased with close victories over Marshall and Cal. We said that over the summer. We said that. We're like, in order for us to feel like this program is taking a step forward,
we got to dominate.
They have to dominate Marshall and Cal. That's the next step. You have to start dominating teams that you're better than.
Like,
to show, okay, we're moving towards legit contender.
Yeah.
Never in a million years did I think we were going to be talking about a loss to either one of those teams. But here we are.
I mean, we're going to struggle versus Cal, man.
The crazy thing is Cal is going to struggle against our defense.
Oh yeah.
The offense is bad. Like, as bad as the Notre Dame offense has been, it still might be the best offense on the field on Saturday.
Oh yeah, for sure. We should
Our
be.
offense is that bad.
It's
that bad.
It's that bad.
And we'll get deep into the matchups tomorrow, but Notre Dame fans, look, this Tommy Rees thing, most of you guys have either inboxed me, hit me up on social media, emailed me, and I'm starting to come around to your side. I really am. You know, I really try to give Tommy Rees a chance. And just the film and watching the game back, like I saw things where I'm like, what? Dude, they were 12 personnel one play. Ballman was like on the end of the line to the left. They had Aldrich left of Tyler. Mayer split out. Mayer split back in to the edge of the line and brings the defender with him, which lets me know, cool, man to man. Or if he motions again, they're going to switch responsibilities. So now you have the defensive back coming off the edge, and they motion Michael Mayer. They motion Michael Mayer to the left, but then they run behind the right guard. I'm like, wait a minute, what are we doing? We just motioned Mayer away and freed up this dude to come off the edge and ran into the free defender. I'm like, yo, that's when I was like, look, come on, man.
Yeah, you're doing too much. You're doing
This
too much.
is,
Just run it right, run it left, run it downhill.
if you want to run, keep Michael Mayer split out. Keep the defender out of the box. Keep him out of the box. That was the moment for me saying, look, this dude, this is just, this is not it. This is not, the play calling is off. The creativity is off. And if that's off coming from the top, heck, I can only imagine what the players are thinking. They're probably confused on the field. Let's get to some of your questions and comments, man. Thank you guys for tapping in today. Jamie McNeil, Shaun, is this a transition or a train wreck? I mean, we'll see. We don't have a choice but to sit and wait. It's definitely going to be one or the other. I can tell you that. We are not Marshall. That's funny. Good afternoon. Anyone had confidence that this team can score 28 this week? With some assistance from the defense? Quite possibly. Marcus Freeman talked about that as well in his press conference. He was asked about, creating turnovers. And I don't care how good you are on the back end, you're not creating turnovers without pressure.
You're not. You're not. And the quarterbacks the last 2 weeks have been hanging back there going 8 for 8, 10 for 10, throwing for 300 yards because they're facing zero pressure. They are totally comfortable back there. And for a team that's aggressive, you're wondering, man, are we ever going to hit home? It's like these teams are just catching and throwing with guys that are like, oh, that's wide open. How? How is it wide open though? Like guys like we making Marshall's guys look like all-star receivers.
Yeah.
Me wait, like the one that got called back, the dude dunked on us. I mean, good.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, it was nasty.
Yeah.
Like, man,
yeah.
Whatever we paid the refs that day, that was nice because I'm like, that for sure was a touchdown. Like bad football. They look like the better team winning that one-on-one like that. I mean, they really look like the better team.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a 5-star guy you doing that to. Against a Marshall receiver that's probably just older. I mean, he may not even be, on nobody's list, but he out there looking like he might get drafted.
Yeah.
Like we have a problem with getting guys drafted. Like, ESPN draft day, they draft a guy. They always playing Notre Dame highlights. Drake London get drafted. He got a bunch of Notre Dame highlights, catching and running and stiff arming guys. It's like, dang, we get all the highlight guys drafted. Like, good grief.
I'm glad you mentioned that. How long has tackling been a problem at Notre Dame?
Oh,
Because we want to talk about the current staff. How long has tackling been a problem at Notre Dame?
Too much.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. Go Irish. Thank you for tapping in. Shaun, what's your point of view on starting some new players? Let the youngins play, brother. Hey, look, hey, you know how we feel.
Should have been playing.
There's no better teaching than that sideline.
I mean, at this point, I'm getting all the rotations going because season over. Season over. We'd be lucky to be ranked by the end of the season.
Season is over as far as the major goes.
Yes, the season is over as far as going to the championship, going to the playoffs. That martial law sealed the deal in week 2. We got booted in week 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting rid of all them seniors. I'm sorry. I'm building the program before they get on my ass.
Say that again. Say that again.
All them seniors, I'm sorry. Y'all blew it. Week 2 is over. It's over. Nothing to be playing for right now. So I'm going to, as Marcus Freeman, the head coach of the Notre Dame football team, that I plan on being here for a while.
You're going to look out for what? You said you building a what?
Building a program.
Program.
We got to JD and all them seniors. Look, the season is done for you. Because they on my butt. And it's week 2. They dumping Gatorade on the other coach in week 2. Oh, yeah. Hey, Jay, Mickey, you up. Cam, you hurt? All right, sit down. It's cool. We got young guys. Got to get in. Ben Morris, get in there. Oh, we're going to find out one of them freshmen going to play. Is Steve, if you ready? If you're not ready, it's CJ time. So you're going to get a lot of time this year. I'm going to put you out there. Against Clemson, they put Kay Klubenek out there versus Clemson. We should put Angeli out there versus Clemson. We know we ain't finna, Aldrich, Logan, Chris Tyree, Logan. It's time to get on your horse.
Yeah, Logan, look, man. I saw this yesterday, and Notre Dame fans, you can go watch the play in the first quarter, about 4 minutes left in the first quarter, where Logan Diggs misses the assignment on picking up the linebacker on the blitz. That probably would have led to a nice pass completion. If your left shoulder's not right, then sit, bro.
Sit, bro. It's cool.
You can't have a player on a blitz come to your left shoulder and then you try to hit him with your right shoulder and turn. That's if you're hurt.
Be hurt.
Be hurt.
Because you're gonna get other people hurt.
Yeah, either you're gonna have to pop him with that left shoulder and take the pain, or just line that dude up and put your helmet in his sternum. But
because we're not giving you no bigger
possible big plays. Yeah, it can't happen. Can't happen. Notre Dame 2164. We appreciate you. Question: if we recruit smaller, more athletic D linemen that are supposed to be gap shooters and disruptors, why are we asking them to hold blocks and eat up space? I mean,
we asked them to get in the backfield. They can't even get in the backfield.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of what they ask you to do, you have to do it. I don't know what you're being asked or what they're being asked a certain percentage of times, but I've seen flash, right? The second down on the last touchdown drive from Marshall, they got the second and goal at around the 3-yard line, and all of a sudden Jason Adamiola flashes through, big play, puts them back on the 6. They ended up scoring on the next play anyway, but we need to see more of that. Riley Mills, the second down when we had him backed up, breaks through, makes the tackle for loss. We need to see more of that. And then it's a mentality thing, right? Because it's very tough. And I want you to tap into this, bro, as a quarterback and as an offense, what it's like to go out knowing or feeling like this is what you're going to get. As a pitcher, it's totally different walking to the mound knowing that your team is going to score 5 runs. Like when you know your offense is giving you 5 runs, you go to the mound with an extra confidence. You're already confident in what you can do. Now you can be even more aggressive.
Yeah.
I can make a mistake. If I make a mistake, it's not going to be magnified. But if you
look
know
at
your
Quinn
team is
Ewers.
struggling,
Quinn
yes,
Ewers against Alabama's like, look, I'm throwing it deep.
yes,
I'm taking the one-on-one, no problem. Because I'm confident that if I throw it down there, Xavier Worthy going to have a good chance. It ain't 50-50. It's more like 70-30. And I'm throwing it. I ain't even going to think twice about it. It's going to look good on film because it's going to be like, man, this man knows exactly where to go. Yes. I'm going to take a hit doing it because I'm trying to beat you to get there.
yeah.
Like that's the type of play that it happens when the team is inspired by each other. It's a shame we maxed out Tyler Buckner being injury prone already. Max him out in 2 games. That's an indictment on Tommy.
The game of football.
Your backup quarterback last year was more hurt than your starter, and he barely played. Was more hurt than Jack Conan, he barely played. So you go into the next season, and he has the most carries and the most hits in 2 games, and he's done. No surprise. No surprise. He's already injury prone. No surprise. No surprise. So unless you did that on purpose, it doesn't make no sense. Why does Tyler Buckner have the most carries on the team with 3 or 4 damn running backs that are all very capable?
And most people will say, well, man, they didn't have anything else that was working. That still goes back on Tommy Rees. Why?
That still goes back on Tommy Rees. But you can't tell me that nothing else is working to the point where you're going to run an injury-prone quarterback into the dirt. You ran him into the dirt in 2 games. So if you had to extrapolate that plan wasn't going to work from the beginning. He already was getting beat up versus Ohio State. I'm talking about taking on one of Aldrich Estime hits in week 1. The kid was fragile and didn't even make the spring game. So you go into Ohio State like, we're going to run the shit out of Tyler Buckner with all these running backs. And then the next week, we're going to run the shit out of Tyler Buckner again. Aldrich Estime being like, damn, am I a fullback? I done blocked more for this man and ran the ball myself, and I'm doing good. So unless you did it on purpose, or you just have a lack of awareness, if your season is dependent on Tyler Buckner to take you to the championship, why are you running him crazy in the first 2 games of the season? And he's injury prone. Now he's done for the season. I mean, I'm not surprised. Done for like major injury. Like, damn, we got something crazy done happened to him. Like, damn. So what is you had to have had a B plan, or you just have zero awareness of the people you have on the team. Maxing out the talent. We did it to CJ. We switched CJ when we had Tarian, we had Josh, we had Dex, we had all these guys. Switched CJ after 1 offseason to running back and gave him the ball to the point where he's got a broken shoulder going into the draft. How? You had Dex, Josh, all these guys. Tarian, or not Tarian, but all these guys. And then we did it to Josh. 33 trucking. Then trucked him into the ground. Started the season with no knee brace, in his career with 2 knee braces. Ain't worth a damn in the league. And we had Dex. We had all the young guys. I mean, it's crazy. Maxing out one guy a game. Now we probably gonna max out Michael Mayer. We done maxed the hell out the first 2 games. I didn't see Michael Mayer get hit more than all of last season in the first 2 games. He just in every action. taking big shots. He took a big shot against Marshall. So it's like, what are we doing, Tommy? What are you spending all this offseason doing? It had like you can't tell me you spent your offseason dialing up shit. Because that Ohio State game plan, I could have thought of that. I mean, damn, you didn't do nothing. Tyler Buckner threw a sight adjustment on the second play. That wasn't a play call. That was an adjustment. That was an in-play adjustment. That wasn't a play call. That was an in-play. Tyler saw it and threw it. It wasn't like we're going to make him bite it and we're going to scheme. There wasn't no scheme. It was we're running the ball, and if this happens, we're going to throw it. And he threw it. All off season for that. I'm expecting some twists and twirls and some creative down the field shots and all that. Come on, man, you ain't doing nothing. So I don't know.
Happy birthday to our boy G_Note. Thanks for tapping in. Hey, bro, it's you know, it's hard. You know why it's hard? Not for you. You're part of the brotherhood, right? Brothers can always say things about and to brothers that people outside can't, right? So you can go hard because I think whatever you're saying, you would say to Tommy, man to man.
Yes.
Flat out. As a fan, it's hard for me to like go that hard because, I tip my cap to what he gave to us as a player.
Yeah,
As
I
a
think
fan,
Tommy.
I'm
I
like,
think Tommy has a lot of potential. Tommy's biggest problem is like, it's like you're forcing yourself to be like, oh, I'm pigeonholed. No, you're not. No, you're not. We respect you as a play caller. You had some great things in the first half versus Clemson when you had Ian Book. You had some good stuff. But then it's like you acting like Tyler Buckner is so far off of what you had with Ian. But that's your fault. Y'all recruited him.
Yeah.
It's like, dang. To the point where it's like you had a whole season to be thinking about this in the back of your mind. Jack's only here for 1 year. After Jack, we got to have a game plan for Tyler Buckner. I know you try to get some recruits in the offseason, but man, you didn't even capitalize on that.
Yeah.
So even if it was you was talking to Keaton Slovis, you didn't capitalize. He went to Pitt.
Yeah.
How does Keaton Slovis choose Pitt over Notre Dame?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Choose Pitt. Hold on. Keaton Slovis chose Pitt. And then he bragged about how you called him the first caller.
Yeah.
So you're not closing? You the first caller during this workout, surprising him.
He said 10 seconds. He said he had just hit the button to be in the portal.
So now you looking thirsty and you pulled up in a Lamborghini truck to holler at the shorty. And you couldn't get her to get in the car? You had the cab pull up behind and get her? She chose the cab over the Lamborghini truck? No game. Come on, Tommy. You let Keaton Slovis, who's hurt and whatever, it don't matter now, choose Pitt over Notre Dame. And then to make it worse, you didn't even call Caleb. And look at Caleb going crazy. Been to go crazy against us because of you.
Yeah. I see there's a lot of people in the chat that, man, have maybe they don't have brothers or they have twisted relationships with their brothers. Because I agree, if you're a brother, that's a brotherhood. Doesn't make it a brother, though. Just like you can have a father, but it doesn't make him a daddy. Anyone can give birth, but it takes a man to raise a child. Anyone could be a brother by birth, but it takes certain characteristics to actually live out and walk in that. I talk, I watch, and I see how these Notre Dame players on and off the field, even after they've left Notre Dame. You know how many times we see other players from other programs throw the program under the bus constantly? Throw other players under the bus. That's one of the things in talking to you, a guy like Max Redfield that even finished his time at Notre Dame, that could have all the reasons in the world to say something crazy and refuses because he understands what his time there meant. You know what I'm saying? It's special. And I just try to point that out to the fan base, like appreciate it. Because what you're watching and what they give you and who they are on the field, it's not fake. It's real. It's a real brotherhood. And that's what I was referring to. Not just in term, I'm talking about in action and deed. It's real. And that's why I have to respect when you say what you say. You know, jokingly, I saw some, well, I hope our boy Drunk Vigo wasn't being serious. Because if you think you can walk up to Tommy Rees in his face and say the things that Malik would be able to say, I promise you it won't be received the same way. It just wouldn't. You're on mute, bro.
Damn, it wouldn't be received well by me. You know, Tommy crazy. Tommy got some, you can Google Tommy. How he get down at Notre Dame.
Dude.
But I'm not. But what I would say, I wouldn't be lying.
My advice to you, Vigo, please don't do that. Don't test that out. Please don't.
Don't test that out.
Don't test that out.
I'm from Chicago. Hey, Tommy from Chicago, man. Tell him, Shaun. Tommy is from Chicago.
He is just a little bit further north up there off the.
Don't be testing Tommy now.
I'll give him a little piece. I'll give. That's the whole thing. Tommy's baby face. But once again, people don't know Tommy.
People don't know Tommy.
His persona.
Tommy is a competitive guy.
Oh,
don't be.
That's my advice to Vigo. Like, dude.
Yeah, Google about Tommy,
like,
man.
Don't.
Yeah, you can say a lot on the Twitter fingers. Tommy gonna handle something now.
Yeah, we're not trying to put anything on Tommy's resume like an assault or anything like that, or skirmish. We don't want that.
We just want to say you can do better than that. That's all.
Do better.
We know you can do better. That's all. That's all, bro.
All.
We ain't trying to talk about nothing crazy.
Yeah. Yo, hey, chat, LL, y'all relax, man. I told you, don't do that personal stuff. You don't have to agree with everybody. Joe Long, he's our guy. Regardless of his opinion about what we say or how he feels, he supports. Man, all that personal stuff, relax, man. We're not scrapping over conversation. It's not that serious. Indy for life. Shaun and Malik, I appreciate you both. Thanks for keeping me sane. Wish you guys were on from 89 to now. I could have used your counseling. Well, if you had me on the 89, I would have been just, nah. You didn't want the 89 version. Other than after the Miami loss down in Miami too, that wouldn't have been good.
Would have been tough.
And shout out to you, Roger Blackman. Yes, development has been and continues to be a problem. We agree. We agree with that.
Yeah. It's getting tough. It's getting stale. That's what it is. Getting stale. It's tough.
No. Joe, I totally agree with you. Defend yourself. But I'm just telling everybody, relax on the personal stuff. And calling people out of their names, like relax. Like relax, man. This team has gotten everybody so emotional and on edge, man. Like be cool. It's okay. It's okay.
We should not be losing like that.
It's okay. Indy for Life also says, sorry, Shaun. Looks like your Bears are coming my way to Arlington Heights. I will have a wonderful view here at One Arlington. Hey, I'm all for it. Please burn Soldier Field down. Turn it down immediately. It's the worst stadium ever, man. You know what time? I think I hit the wrong button.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I thought something was about to pop up. I was like, I don't want that.
Uh-oh.
I just messed up the best part of the show. You know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, pettiest story of the day, brought to you by Onora Whisky, OnoraWhisky.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. And if you drink, make sure you drink responsibly. Daniel Hackett, head coach of the Denver Broncos. Hey, my man. 3 timeouts, a minute left, 4th and 5. Man, you're going to have to come better than that, bro. I have to put you on the petty train. Have to.
That's right.
4 o'clock management. And then after the game, for you to get in front of the media and explain what you were doing and say, I think we had gotten sacked on the play before. No, you had just picked up 9 yards to make it 4th and 5. You don't even know what happened on the previous play.
Know what happened.
Man, come on, bro. Petty
Be
train.
better than that. Gotta be better than that.
Yo, your first game as a head coach? Yeah. That's pretty bad. And you know what? Petty train also, because we're going to allow Cam McDaniel to take us out of here. Notre Dame fans that have been going at players on social media, come on, man. I know you're angry. I know you're upset. But you're taking it a little bit too far. Just a little bit too far. That's too much. We don't do that. Be better than that. We are better than that. Come on, man. Anything for you?
Man, Drew Rees on the petty train for telling Quinn Ewers to pop a perk, get back in there. What are you talking about, Drew?
Oh, man. Yo.
You're not a doctor, Drew. You're not a doctor.
Yo. Shout out to Sean Payton, who told this story. You can go check it out. He was on with Colin Cowherd. And he said he sent Patrick Mahomes playbooks the day before and was like, I'll be down there to work you out tomorrow. He said Patrick Mahomes had the best workout and film session he's ever had with a quarterback. He said he told Pete Carmichael and the rest of the people that were with him, we're not stopping anywhere to eat. This is our next quarterback. They had the 11th pick in the draft that year. Right? He says they're sitting in the room. And he sees that at the number 10 spot that Kansas City has just traded up. And he turned to the rest of the staff and said, gosh darn it, we're going to have to take Marshawn Lattimore. Like he knew that Andy Reid. But this is important. It's important to have people that understand quarterbacks go look at your quarterback. Bro, if you have an OC that's struggling to create a game plan, do you really trust them to go recruit that guy at quarterback? That's an honest question. LL, let us know what you think about it. That's an honest question.
But I do think Tommy knew that from Tyler Buckner and went and personally told CJ, "You're my guy." Tommy said, "I can't win with TV. I didn't really want him. I don't really want Drew. I don't really want Dante. I feel best with CJ."
I just thought that was interesting because in the same draft, we had Matt Nagy go evaluate the same quarterback and say that Mitch Trubisky was the guy. I'm just saying, if we see that his offensive genius was all lies.
All lies.
All
lies.
All lies. That's why I just asked the question. If you struggle as an OC, when you struggle as an OC, can you be trusted to evaluate quarterbacks? That's all I'm saying.
You're funny as hell, Shaun. You said
That's all I'm saying. Oh, it's all lies. All lies. Just because your dad is a carpenter, it doesn't make you a carpenter. And just because he came from Andy Reid, it doesn't make him Andy Reid. He was all lies.
Oh my God, bro. That is hilarious. The man was out there lying to people.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. We appreciate all of you guys, man. Go follow right now. Lucky Lefty Pod on Twitter and Malik Zaire 8 Overtime Malik. Twitter, Instagram, SD2 Mics. Subscribe, share, like, let everybody know. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Need to check in with us. From my boy, we'll see you tomorrow, same time. We'll dig in on the matchup with Cal. Which struggling offense will actually get over 20 points? We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow at 10:35, right here in Lucky Lefty Podcast. Have a fantastic day. Most of all, make sure you spend it different today. Yeah.